Hi to all of the developers watching this episode. Today's method is the first one among array methods, and on top of that it is one of the new methods. So here we go, exploring the cool features of the array_add method. Brace yourselves! The add method takes an integer value and returns the item at that index, allowing for positive and negative integers. This makes it different from simply using bracket notation, because that only allows for positive integers or 0. Negative integers will be counted back from the last item in the array. Let's check it out on a simple example. As we can see in the first example, when we use 0 or positive integer value as an index, the value is identical to one used with the bracket notation. However, when we use negative numbers, it can only be used together with the add method. Bracket notation would throw undefined. The range of acceptable values with the bracket notation starts with 0 and ends with the length, including 0 and excluding the length. With the add method, the acceptable range starts at the negative length of an array and ends with length, including negative length and excluding length. At the same time, if we split this range in two and put it one above the other, the indexes on the same position on the x-axis give us the exact same values. If it is a little confusing for you, do not worry, we will explore it further in the next example. We have our array of numbers. The positive values of indexes are between 0 and 4 inclusively. The negative indexes in a range -5 to -1 inclusively. When you put them in two lines, one above the other, you will see which index values from the positive range correspond to a negative range value and get you exactly the same result. Of course, you can always stick to using the bracket notation and just positive range. Let's see that comparison now in the next example. The arrayObject method add is equivalent to the bracket notation in case that index is non-negative. But when you are counting elements from the end of the array, you cannot use negative values, because all values inside the square brackets are treated literally as string properties, so you will end up reading something which does not have value and end up with undefined instead. What you can do is to use the array's length inside the bracket, just like I did in the example, but that unnecessarily overcomplicates things. We spoke about array methods being generic, and we can show that also here with the add method. Let's see how it works in the next example. As we see, we are able to call the add method easily on an object which has property length and some numerical object properties. However, pay attention to the fact that the first call is successful and gets us the red color, but the second call, which tries to access the index which is greater or equal to length property value, results in value undefined, although the property exists and actually has a value. The reason for this behavior stems from the implementation of add method, which only checks indexes that belong to the range specified by the two conditions. Index is greater or equal to minus array length, and index is less than array length. If any of these conditions is not true, the method simply returns value undefined without even attempting to access the corresponding property. Okay. That was the array method add covered from top to bottom. I hope you enjoyed this episode. As always, thanks for your attention, I appreciate it a lot. See you in the next video.